yeah. I mean, if there's one thing a horse lover hates to do, it's to shoot a horse. Yeah, it's really hard on you.
Actually, when I was coming up the flat there was horses on the flat, but they obviously didn't see or hear me because they didn't snort.
My vote on the committee was to leave the brumbies alone. Leave them as they are. And they're not doing any damage to the environment because there's not enough of them.
Trapping wild horses in a remote locality with no roads and then have to be able to move those horses out in a humane way and a safe way, it's a very difficult and dangerous task.
I think that's where Luke's interest in the brumbies first started, really. They all learned to ride when they were about 3 or 4, I suppose. Bert used to throw them up on horses. It just got in his blood. He loved it so much.
And we've come down to see the memorial plaques, and it's a favourite spot of my grandfather.
Get a bit of a trap on the slow one. You're walking, I think. He's looking. Good boy.
It's not an easy spot to get to by any means. But the whole of Cananga and this little area of the Coxs was their second home because that's where they spent a lot of their life. It's been in the family ever since we settled here, the Coxs River. It's in your heart. No, horsemen aren't allowed in here as a general rule. The only people that are allowed in here are our family, actually, by an agreement with the National Parks and Wildlife Service. That said, it doesn't last forever. Every 10 years it's got to be renewed. So there's always the chance that someone can come along and say, we don't want you here no more, we don't want any horses here no more, you know. I'll read you this one first. Norbert, the grandfather, says, to the memory of a pioneer settler and stockman, Norbert T. Carlon, Green Gully, Megalong Valley, pioneer of the Burragorang, Megalong districts. Erected at this spot he loved so well by the stockmen and bushwalkers of these rivers in November 1961.
This is a photo of Bert's father, Norbert Carlon, and underneath it says, N. Carlon, cattle king of the ranges, sitting on Splendour Rock at Mount Dingo in the Wild Dog Mountains, views his vast runs, 30 square miles. Norbert was a great storyteller, big giant of a man with red hair and a booming voice. And I remember him and Alice, they were idolised by the bushwalkers. And there was such a lot of them in those days. There was Sydney bushwalkers, Catholic bushwalkers, Coast and Mountain walkers. There were about 7 or 8 different clubs, and they would all stay there, yeah.
Norbert lived down in the old house at Green Gully, and of course the bushwalkers all stopped in there on their way through. And my grandmother, Alice, she looked after and cooked all this wonderful food and that. In fact, Miles Dunphy stayed there and camped there for many years on and off when he was mapping the area. Miles Dunphy is called the great man, as they say, of the bushwalking and environmental movement. And he had the whole concept of this becoming a national park. Back when it was Crown land and cattle were grazed here, it was his idea to make it into a national park. Miles Dunphy was staying with Grandma and Grandfather, and they were looking after him. And yeah, I think he was sort of thinking all the time that he was going to get this declared a national park, and then that would be the finish of probably families like ourselves. I suppose he saw that the country needed this as the greater good, and the few people that were in the way were not a great consequence.
Working as a park ranger, my job was to look at the whole of the region and actually assign priorities for where to manage introduced pests. and we had a horse population down in the Warragamba area, which is southern Blue Mountains. It's highly dissected country, a lot of gorge country, with very, very little access. We used to use various methods to control the horses. A lot of it was done by shooting. And there is a percentage of the Australian society that objects, and objects very strongly, to shooting of horses. In 2002, the New South Wales government, they wanted us to review the way that we actually went about managing the horses. The horse population actually lives around the dam, very close to the actual high water mark of Lake Burragorang. And there is some evidence to suggest that they may carry out cryptosporidium, and then it causes human health issues. So to actually manage Sydney's water, we need to remove the horses out of that catchment area. 4.5 million people drink the water that comes out of this dam. It's about 150 square kilometres in wilderness area, and it contains 80 horses in it. And over here, 100 kilometres away, or not even 100 kilometres away, we've got 4.5 million people. In this area, we've virtually got no people living at all. We formulated a committee to look at the best way that we should do this. We've got a number of community representatives on that committee. We've also got the Brumbies Protection Society, the RSPCA, Blue Mountains Conservation Society, local pastoralists, and we've also got a vet. Basically, the committee said to us that we should go about trapping these horses, move them off park and rehome them. Where the main horse population actually is, it's quite a unique area in that this is a site that has been deemed to be of World Heritage value. Then we've actually got wilderness declaration in that area, and wilderness is about natural systems continuing with very little influence from mankind. So we're not going to be going in there with quad bikes and riding across the landscape or motorbikes. And then the third level of complexity is that it's Schedule 1 water protection area. It's virtually a no-go zone for members of the public. So you've got three of the highest classifications that you can possibly put across the landscape. And this horse population is right in the middle of it.
This one up here is to Norbert's son, my father, Bert, to the memory of Albert Bert Carlon, respected stockman and bushman of Megalong Valley, erected in 1998 by his loving family and friends, this spot where his spirit roams free.
One of the reasons I married Bert was when I first met him, he took me down the river to a place called Canangra, and he proceeded from way out there in the wilderness to shoot a duck, roast it in the camp oven, and had this fantastic feast. And I thought, if this man can do that down there, he's worth cultivating. Trouble is, I don't think he ever did it after that, but...
My father went to work on the movie The Sons of Matthew for Charles Chevelle, and this is 1947. Actually ended up in the second assistant. His name's there, but also he did a lot of horse and stunt work.
There were moonlight nights when the hills echoed to the sound of wild horses as they thundered from the mountains. The stallions would wreck the yards and take the mares.
And that's him, doubling for the leading lady in the riding scenes.
He wore the wig and put on her clothes and jumped the horses and rode through the cyclone. And they were on this movie for a couple of years. I'm not sure why the Sons of Matthew's never made it to DVD. A lot of people considered Sons of Matthew to be Charles Chevelle's best film. It's a shame it's not on DVD, and it should be. It should be there for everyone to have a look at because it's a piece of Australia.
We had so many people come down and say, oh, can we go for a ride? Someone said to us, why don't you do it for a living? And we thought, yeah, okay. So in 1964, we started the first of our what we call pack saddling trips, and it just took off like you wouldn't believe, yeah. So we'd take all these people down the river and show them all these fantastic places and camp them out down there. And well, the kids all grew up with that business. They all took people out for rides. They gave them tuition in bushcraft.
Yeah, it was an extremely popular place, yeah. I mean, in the end, we had 40 horses saddled up most days.
Well, Bert said we never went on holidays because the world came to us, and the number of people that we met through pack saddlers was astronomical. It really was. That's Slim Dusty, that's Bert and Slim, Bert and Dick Smith.
When we first started pack saddlers, it was Crown land, and there were cattle run there, and there were really no rules on where people go or what they do, you know. And then when the National Park took over there, they became a bit more regulated. We continued on for many years until this wilderness declaration came, and then they'd virtually forced us out of business. Dad was in his older years then, and he was a bit crook anyway. We tried to sell the business as such, but without any access to ride to, the business was worth nothing, which is a bit of a shame. His mum and dad spent a lifetime creating a business that was known right around the world. The
problem with the parks was the horses hooves. If we had done anything else but horses, our argument was that the horses had been going over those same tracks for 150 years with our family. If 150 years didn't do any harm, why suddenly was it going to cause harm?
I was about 27 when Dad died. That's one of the reasons why we probably gave pack saddlers away a bit easier than we could have. Dad had just died, and we were sort of a bit of a low, I suppose.
We could have compromised somehow or other, but there was no compromise on their part at all. It was just out, and that's it.
He was a gentleman, really, Dad. Everyone liked him. He was a good bushman too, Dad. There's very few of them left. Oh, I think that era made them type of fellas, you know, those eras disappearing now. They're going, but yes, he was it.
They talk about how the Aborigines have this special feel for their land, and that is true, and they acknowledged that, but they didn't acknowledge that we had that same special feeling. In case there's a rock or something that I'll trip over. The feeling between us and the parks was pretty strong at that stage, and they didn't treat us very well. We were the enemy to start off with, yeah. Lots of happy days down here, Russell. Very happy.
Yeah, I often think of leaving and going on to better country and making life a bit easier for ourselves, you know. So far, I've only thought about it.
Because I grew up in this area here, I knew of the Carlons, and I knew of pack saddlers, and I knew that all of the Carlons had grown up riding horses from, you know, when they could virtually stand. I also knew that the Carlons know about the brumbies. They know where the brumbies are in, you know, in southern Blue Mountains.
So mares naturally go to mobs.
Yeah.
So Luke has a lot of skills and background knowledge to offer.
In two minds, although by this time, it was a long time after, and feelings had cooled down a fair bit, it got Luke that connection with the land again and the horses. I'm fine about it now, yeah, I am.
Originally, My vote on the committee was to leave the brumbies alone, to leave them as they are. And they're not doing any damage to the environment because there's not enough of them. And they haven't got the country to breed up in, as far as I'm concerned. And I understand in some areas where there's thousands of horses, they've got to do something about it. I thought, you know, I'd like to do this job, but how difficult is it going to be? Or is there going to be too many rules and regulations that would stop us from doing the job? So that was why I was a little bit reluctant originally to take it on.
Get up the old Smoky, all right?
And I thought if I don't do it, they could shoot these horses, and I didn't want to see them shot. To my knowledge, there's nobody else in the whole of the country doing it the way that we're doing it. Most of our horses are away from the places where you can get trucks into. So that's why we've got to lead them out, and it's a lot bigger job. Well, Burragorang is a special place for our family because this is where Patrick Carlon settled in the 1830s. You know, they were convicts, they were rebel convicts. There was a lot of Irish Catholic in Burragorang, yeah, and the English would have liked the Irish being in the hard country, making them work hard and keeping them out of mischief, eh? Nearly all the families in Burragorang were, you know, got along well with the Aboriginals as far as they could, but I think they knew how they sort of felt. They called the place Carlon Town there in Burragorang, and there was just that many Carlons there got that name, Carlon Town. All this beautiful valley that it was, all that country, all the farms they had, and now 150 feet underwater. Carlon Town is under the waters of Lake Burragorang, been drowned forever. The Burragorang is a sister valley to the Megalong Valley. In being in Megalong, I was only a couple of hours away to get into free feed and to trap these. You might free feed them for a month before you set the trap. So you're going in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. How you going? We're in a special catchment area now. No vehicles, push bikes, horses, dogs or walkers. Only we're allowed in here for our special job. Before we catch these horses, we've got to work out what do we bait the trap with. And they're wild horses, all they've ever had to eat is grass. It's just a matter of getting them hooked on something, and then hopefully we can catch them. We originally chose stud mix and pellets because they're easy to cart on a pack horse. Hay is quite difficult. Right, he's loaded. It's hard country, it's rocky country and it's steep country. You've got to have horses that are bred and right for the job. And this trip we've had a new pack horse and he's been giving us a few dramas. It takes a while to get these horses accustomed to what they're doing, you know.
Go! 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 Oh, will you, bastard? Hell! Get off the place, thing, Go, Luke. Right, hell. Pack that many friggin' irons. That'll let me unhook them straight away. Then not much damage done. Normally not this hard, but it's a bit embarrassing. We're heading up to Apple Tree Flat, where we're actually setting up the trap yards. It's always been a favourite area for the brumbies.
reason you can't muster brumbies or lasso brumbies in this sort of country is mainly because it's so rough. A little brumbie can just take off through the scrub, put his head down like a roo and just keep going, but there's no way that you can on your own horse. You know, you kill your horse or yourself, you just can't do it. The scrub's just too thick.
Well, these yards here are going to be our catching yards. What we do is we feed out around certain points. We'll slowly but surely add a few more panels and close gaps off till they get used to coming in and out all the time. The remote sensor camera, letting us know what's going in and out in the yard, what's taking the feed. I can see a pig in that one, a pig in that one, big fat boar. We'll set this up on the tree, spacing over there on that horse feed, see what comes along tonight. Never know, after all these years, might be an unblurry picture of the famous Black Panther eating horse feed. The old fella there's been on the land all his life, and this lady from a government organisation said, well, perhaps what we could do to help control the dingoes is we could get all the male ones in and castrate them. The old fella was up the back of the meeting and stood up and he said, for God's sake, woman, he said, they're eating the sheep, not rooting them. Jason's my nephew. He's been riding horses in rodeo and, you know, he's just turned into a handy young bloke, so we're going to use him on some of the more difficult parts of this job.
But see, they're like your fingernail. So you can drill a hole through your fingernail and it won't hurt.
Righto, Joe, off we go.
The Coxs River is very boggy and there's quicksand where you'll actually sink up to your horse's belly. So it's difficult trying to find a way across.
Just here where them brumbies have come across too. That one works.
We can have a companion, but he's not going to say anything.
Yeah, I think everything around here's got flat batteries, including myself.
I never push in the queue, I never rush, but I said if there was a time machine, I'd knock everyone out of the way to get in the thing. I'd go back to when there was more freedom. People were responsible for their own actions. You know, I just think they were better times.
We'll just play with these all day.
We're both, you know, old established valley families, one of the few left, still from the original settlers. You know, it's home. He talks about it a lot. I find whenever he's really busy and he's behind in his work and he's a bit stressed, that's when he starts to talk about moving and leaving. But Luke's heritage means a lot to him. I know he was doubting himself for a little while, but just had to say, you know, they wouldn't have got you to do the job if they didn't think that you could do it. I mean, in the bush, you wouldn't want anyone else with you.
Yeah, Blackie, just letting you know we've arrived at Hayes Crossing.
Okay, copy that.
What's that?
Maybe Brumby.
Yeah, Brumby, eh?
Takayo Suzuki, or Tak as he's known, is a Japanese stockman, which is pretty rare. He's selling Wagyu beef. Pretty handy sort of a fella, Tak. Well, our kids, they go together to the little school over in Megalon.
Be a shame to see them shot just lying on the flat here, wouldn't it?
He's only a foal. Little runny looking little fella, isn't he? Come on, mate. Come up to us here. Where are you, mother? Come on. All our yards here on Apple Tree Flat has all been flown in by helicopter. So it's a fairly costly operation to do that part of it.
Yeah. The grass.
Yeah.
It doesn't spruce the horse.
Don't change it. Yeah, but there's nothing. They haven't been here. There's nothing on the camera, not one picture. Nothing's been here. But they know the hay's here, so they didn't come here straight away. Well. We fed out a lot of horse pellets and stud mix, and the biggest problem there was the pigs would find it before the horses. So we're going to use lucerne hay, and it's flown in by helicopter.
Big day?
Yeah, pretty good. Just I was hoping those 4 horses that are walking into the apple tree yard, there's 4 or 5 there,
Yeah.
would have taken that feed between Tuesday and today.
Right.
Sorry. Too much pressure.
No, I suppose what I'm saying is that there's a bigger picture environmentally about what's actually happening to Australia.
When you see very few descendants of the early people left in Megalong, it's mainly because they can't survive. There's that many rules and regulations that they've
Yeah, but
gone.
do you think it's just that?
I think that's a great contributor.
Well, do you think there's market forces and a whole range of other things that have come into play?
But, you know, today it's the bureaucrats that control your life to say, well, you can't do that or you can do that. And you can't make or break on your own terms.
Yeah, but at the same time, there was a lot of mismanagement.
Yeah, in a lot of places. Ignorance too. People come out from England, Ireland, and they saw Australia as a hostile place they had to conquer, didn't they?
There's plenty of other places outside of the reserve system where there's thousands of horses running free on other public lands. So the argument that national parks, should hold some areas for horses actually to run free, it sort of just doesn't wear it with me.
No. The camera shows 5. I don't know where the other 2 are, though. Unless that stallion's keeping the other 2 away, which can happen.
That's good.
Yeah, it's good to see him back. Bloody oath. There's been a bit of ruse about 2, hasn't there? But they'd eat loosen a little bit, wouldn't they? But
Yeah, bugger all though.
yeah, bugger all. But there's a bit of ruse.
Chances are there's been more in here than 3.
Well, this was a full heap. See, completely gone.
Yeah.
Very good sign. We've been feeding the brumbies down on Apple Tree Flat for over 4 months now. We finally got them taking the feed. They're walking in and out of the yards pretty well. So we're getting a bit of a team of blokes together to hopefully go down and catch a few of them. Fingers crossed. See how we go. Adam's here. Oh, here he comes. Nice truck, look at that. Kitchen. Chair in the back. That's a little door at the back there. Yeah. Bedroom in there.
There are all these buttons on here. You hit them.
Now adjusting your seat.
And now this massage thing runs down your back.
Fair dinkum.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Brumbies in comfort.
That's for sure.
I don't think I can get that truck down Cedar Creek.
No, I don't. Too high, I think. Good looking setup.
Me and Adam have been mates ever since we were kids, growing up together down Megalong here.
Part of our place was in Conemla Valley, which is just over the river, looking out over this way.
Actually, because the country was worth too much money for what you could run on it. Like, Sydney businessmen bought it with 3 or 4 other fellas, and they're going to turn it into a bit of a tourist thing, horse riding and all that sort of stuff.
And do you miss this country?
Yeah, I do, yeah. You miss the scenery, don't you?
This container will be left down there.
What is that you got there, Chris?
It's a 223 in case we have to use it to euthanize an animal.
All right. So you do that, not the RSPCA one?
No, I'll do it.
Sausages, chops, bacon in here.
Yeah.
Bacon.
I put the butter in this time.
Right, a bit butter. Just trying to remember every bloody thing.
All right, have a good trip.
See you later.
Okay. Have a good time.
Then you get back.
See you, Mum.
Get some brumbies.
Right.
Get much better than that, doesn't it? Yeah.
Just hope the horses take the feed in the home, that's the thing.
Unless we spook them or bugger it up, they'll come in. That's guaranteed. It's just a matter of when.
People have very strong cultural connections to horses, and I actually don't. You know, I'm very wary of those attachments that people have to horses and how that alters their thinking. They can be very, very political, as, you know, has been demonstrated in the past by some of the programs that have gone wrong. The feral culling operation is done to a very professional standard. I'm part of a team that operates across the state. I think there's about 42 shooters in total.
There's nothing there.
Yeah, I have no qualms about undertaking that job because of the environmental outcomes at the end of the day.
Oh, he's gone now. They've been here today. They're all night time.
Now they're here in the night time more than anything.
Yeah. Pull the gate and let it go. And she goes, boom, bang.
All a matter of time. And
when we finally see the horses in the yard on the feed, then let the string go.
then the real work starts.
Yes, and it really starts to get interesting.
I suppose the only thing I've been worried about is actually the way you're going to present this documentary. You know, like, you can cut and splice it and make it all look bad, or you can cut and splice it and make it all look good. And hopefully what you'll do is you'll be middle of the road. You'll actually display this for what it actually is, you know, all the aspects of it, from the land manager's side, the environmental management, to the cultural connections that these guys have got to these horses in this part of the world.
We've got the RSPCA coming out. We're a little bit apprehensive. They have the power to shut this operation down, and we just don't know whether we're going to see eye to eye on the handling techniques that we use to handle these brumbies.
So, Luke, I'd like you to meet the newest member of our party.
Yeah.
This is Courtney Milton.
G'day, Luke.
G'day, Courtney. Nice to meet you.
So we've got a fair week ahead of us by the looks of it.
Yeah.
Are you pretty confident that it's all going to go all right?
Oh, I think so, yeah. A bit of luck.
I could let that gate go and there's nothing in there, you know what I mean? I should be able to hear them chewing the hay.
Yeah, but you won't know if one's hitting the gateway or not. They brought it on themselves because they won't let me do it properly. You know, you've got to lead them out, you can't get vehicle access, you know. You can't do this, you can't do that. You think, well, shit. So many things you could do to make it easier and cheaper. Yeah, there, Adam. And you fellas, with Chris, are going to sneak up onto the high vantage point on these rocks over here and look down just to give us any warning to see whether you do see horses coming down in towards the trapyard. Hey, Adam, this is Luke, if you can hear me. The mare and foal just coming across the river heading up that way. Yeah, Chris, can you see the mare and foal across the river? If they're on this knob, they'd be able to see by now. Yeah, those horses you've seen, they've gone, have they?
Yeah, I think they headed west along the bank. I don't know if they've gone up the hill though.
Yeah, no worries. I don't know whether, was that you calling before or Adam trying to call?
Yeah, Adam, do you copy?
Yeah, sorry mate, you're unreadable. Can you give me 2 clicks if there's any horses in your locality?
So I don't know whether it's 1 or 2.
Adam's a bit of a legend. Going down there and spending the whole night. Well, that's a pretty tall order to stay awake all night like that.
You got any vision yet, or are you still in the fog?
We've got a perfect view. I can see a kilometre upriver and a kilometre downriver and all the way to the top of the slopes.
We can actually hear your voice, quite clearly, not through the radio. Over.
That's unbelievable. You are so far away from us.
Right. I suppose I could head up and let him get out.
I could get wicked out talking.
That spooked them. It spooked them, yeah. They all come up around here, snorting and looking up there. And they pissed off. The feeding can come right up there, isn't it? They had no idea where I was here. Looking straight at them out that hole.
I just can't believe that they can hear our voices from here. Because if humans can hear us, the horses can definitely hear us. I just hope they're not spooked for over 24 hours.
That's right, that's what I hope. Like, they're going to come in because they've been coming in and they've been coming in and they've been coming in.
Yeah.
So they're coming back in. It's just a matter of bloody when. You going back in tonight, Adam, aren't you? Yeah, me and him, come in as we were mates as kids, like all went together everywhere in the bush.
Yeah.
Me and Adam.
I don't really understand why the boys left.
He loves this area, but it's not like me where it gets a hold on you that it's very hard to let go. Our family were there, and and you ride down Carlon's Creek and you look up at Carlon's head and you feel like you belong.
Yeah.
Actually, when I was coming up the flat there was horses on the flat, but they obviously didn't see or hear me because they didn't snort. So I even had my boots off. If you had on a stick, you could sort of feel the stick before you broke it. I heard them down there and they sort of come up and they were fiddling around the yard there. I thought I could hear one eating because you can't see. It was moonlight, but just couldn't see the horse at all. And I thought I could hear one chewing the hay and maybe another couple walking around. So I just laid back there, careful not to make any noise, until when I thought I could hear most of them chewing. When I thought this is the time, so I pulled the rope, let it go, slammed. And when the gate slammed, they rushed up to the gate and they hit the gate. But I wasn't quite game to come up and stay around too long because they were pretty frightened at the time. So I just backed off. And what come to mind was the first time I saw the brumbies. Luke reckons we were 14 or 15. I thought we were a bit younger, but we'd come down from Megalong, down onto the river, and you couldn't come any further on a horse because it was too deep. So we got on our lilos and we paddled for about 2 hours down the river till we got to Apple Tree Flat. And we found horses running around here everywhere. There would have been a mob of 20 at least. Like ever since that, any chance we got, we'd come down here.
We've got a call from Adam on the radio, and he's got a mob in the yards at long last. We've got a mob of horses. Chris? We've still got to get them out yet. That's why I'm a little bit reserved. Some of them are going to pull like bugger. It'd be nice to see a truck loading around there, wouldn't
it? Might be all culture. Bachelor's group. We can work our way up. Little ones to big ones.
Still got to fight no matter what, haven't they? And bite. And no matter what you do, they'll still have a go at you. They're brumbies in every sense of the word.
Mm.
Yeah, brumbies.
So what are you thinking?
Oh, I'm thinking I wish I could get a truck here. Could save a life.
The origin of these is basically that they're pit ponies. So maybe the genetics, there was never any big horses down here. Maybe they all were quite small ponies. Geez, they're biters, though, aren't they?
Well, that's stallions for you.
Well, just
Stallion
bite.
bite and kick. If they get a hold of your leg, they just take a chunk out.
Right. Put it nice and deep in the ground. It's a bit of a sad thing when you actually see the horses. They've sort of done nothing wrong. They don't know, you know, the political side of things and why horses have to be removed from these areas. I know what it's like when we were told we couldn't go into these areas anymore. We're going to have to work them in a round yard to the stage where they can lead and we can handle them, and then we can actually lead them off our own riding horses from the trap yards to our other yards, which is about 4 kilometres of pretty rough country, to where we can load them actually onto a truck and then truck them out of the national park back into Megalong and then find the homes for these brumbies. I wonder if we chuck a bit of hay in here, would they walk in here overnight? That'd save us a bit of trouble, wouldn't it?
You're dreaming.
I am dreaming, yeah. Talking about cleaning that bloody track up. Do it for a fire. This is probably just as deadly as a fire.
Yeah, but it's wilderness. Right? Like, we can't even put a sign up in wilderness, and you're going to push a road on it. Yes, it was a road maybe 50 years ago. It's all the politics that's associated with it.
Sure, but you know, if you've got a job and a hard job to do, you think they might consider because of safety.
You'd have Sydney Catchment Authority asking questions. Then there's the bushwalking groups. Then there's the hardcore greens. Then there's the Wilderness Declaration. Then there's the National Parks Act. Then there's the World Heritage status. But I can make the suggestion, I can put it up there, and I can bat on the OH&S side, and I can't guarantee anything like that.
No.
Well, certainly I'm very interested in the trapping side, like the actual capture and handling process that Adam and Luke are going to be working on. Hopefully we can, you know, get them out safely and then find suitable homes for them.
Mate, it's calm, look at it. Calm as. So any grief at all? No? Well.
We'll take it out. Something must have went on. Must have got a kick or a boo or a fright or something. Yeah. Could be anything, don't know. Just don't know. You can see where the yards are going like this. If you want to get into it a little bit, we just covered it up, you know, the other horse, and just the right thing to do. But get into his neck so you can see. Oh, he's whacked his head, like just slammed, I'd say.
Hit his head, yeah.
Pushed the neck up and broke it.
Yeah.
It's just a simple one wrong move and it can happen, you know, it's not a...
These 5 horses, you know, 330,000 hectares, and we've just put them in a small yard. And I mean, there's no cruelty involved here. It's just.
Well, they are wild horses, and
that's right. They're wild, but it's still disappointing to see any animal like that. And
I don't think there's anything you could have done, Luke. So it's not an easy job that we've all come here to do.
It is, it's a difficult job. We're in a difficult country, you know.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope we don't see too many like that.
pulling.
You have to be really careful, don't you?
Yeah. They just break your bloody arm with one slap.
The way we're handling the horses here might seem a bit brutal and a bit rough. This is not the way that we'd break in the horses at home. We'd spend a week on one horse, but we don't have those luxuries here. We need to get them quiet enough quickly so we can get them out of the valley here and go to a safer home, because the alternative, if we don't, they'll be shot.
To sit on him and rub him all over.
Yeah, when we pull a horse over or, you know, to the ground and that's to show it that we mean business, but we're not here to actually harm you. Here you go. You'd be spending a lot of time reassuring the horse, spend a lot of time patting the horse, let him get up at his own pace, try and work with them, not against them, but you've got to have some control because it's a dangerous situation, and you've got to let the horses know that we mean business as well. When you first get the horse out of the gate, after handling him out into the open, that's when the horse is going to tug and pull, and he senses a bit of freedom. That would be one of the most dangerous times to hang on to them. You know, you've got them roped to your saddle and they pull you over or pull you off your horse. Fair enough. Yeah, just get us across the river, yeah. Maybe even to Cedar Creek. See how we go on this first one.
Yeah, no, I didn't expect I'd see it this quickly. It's certainly quite an amazing process, isn't it?
Ready? Yep. Bugger. That's the dangerous bit. Jack, you're supposed to help not do that if you can.
We're removing brumbies and a horse has died. You know, something worse could happen to the horse or to one of the riders when they're leading out. So this program is not without its risks.
No one said it was going to be easy. Give us a hand here, will you? Bloody hell, fella. That's what you're there for. Well, at least I landed soft for me. You're wet, but soft. Well, he's off apple tree anyway. Come on, you settle down. What are you doing? Where's she doing that? Get behind it, get behind it, get behind it. Spooked by the camera. What a good fella. You know, because there was a mob of us and a fair few horses, he just settled in with us as a mob, you know. That's why it's good just to have blokes just riding beside you anyway, you know.
Well, it's just another way of getting them quiet and straw bagging them down. You had to be downhill, didn't you?
Hey, Jace, you going to take a brumbie?
Yeah, yep.
Which one?
This one. He likes that splash.
Come on, little pop.
Jump over.
Yeah, land straight in there. Get away from there.
Ooh. But I wouldn't want to leave here if I was him either.
Oh, what's the leg? Joe. Cranky little fella, and he's got his mouth open again. Try and stop that horse doing that, Joe. Up, 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 up. There's the four of them. Four brumbies. The other fellow, Josie, got him grown.
Yeah, grown bigger.
Looks like he's fully grown.
Yeah.
You know, the community is getting to actually take these brumbies. You know, they've got these brumbie lines that come out of these wild areas. A lot of people like to have a brumbie running on their property.
That's a top. Puppy. Puppy. Hold it there. One. Two. Great. Away. Yeah. Kick got you in the thigh and pushed your arm backwards.
Yeah, well, it was the thigh. He kicked, but it was his thigh that got into it. Bang.
Good evening, everybody. Just before we start, I wouldn't mind paying my respects to the traditional owners of the country that we're meeting on, the Darug and the Gunning. We're obviously here with regard to the wild horse program.
You still need to remember that these horses are wild, even though they were trained to lead to a degree, you know, they still are wild at heart. And Luke and Adam and the other stockmen, you know, by leading these horses, it was quite a risky process for them. The animal welfare standards were very high. I'll also mention the horsemanship skills of Luke and his stockman, in particular Adam, were highly commendable.
The program is obviously the dollars and cents, and SCA is truthfully the underwriter of this program. I suppose from Andrew's point of view, what he'll be taking back is how does this program rank against the multitude of other programs in the catchment. Chris, if you could just give us that overview, that'd be appreciated.
In a nutshell, approximately $11,000 to $13,000 per horse so far. But now that it's actually happening and we've got trap yards in place down there, each horse becomes significantly cheaper from here on in.
I am staggered with the cost of individual animals, compared to other methods. I believe, when those numbers are at the minimal stages, then, it's definitely needing for the committee to meet and decide on that next stage.
But I just want to know where the money's going to come from. Where we're allotted the money? Is it there or isn't it?
Well, we're finding the money at this point, Warwick.
Yeah, I know, but we had it set aside.
What actually happens in the future, as with all government funding, it's all crystal ball gazing.
Just around this table, is there any thoughts as far as should we be moving to stage 2? Are we at that point where we're not going to have a win and we need to adopt a different approach? Just for everybody, stage 2 is a ground shoot. Yep.
We've seen it before. We'll get going and then they'll just pull the pin.
Basically, we've got it going. It's crazy to stop it now.
$11,000 a horse.
Yeah, that's a problem. How long's it going to last? We got $500,000 to start. How much is left?
It was just too costly and too hard, carting everything in by pack horse, and a bit of looking and a bit of figuring. I thought, with not much work, I can get four-wheel bike down one of these ridges onto the creek and across the river onto Apple Tree, where our main trapping area is. Took that off my own bat to do that. Been able to feed out, been able to cart gear down that was almost impossible to get down by pack horse. It just made a whole lot of difference. We're working 20 feet under the high water mark of the backwaters of the dam. So once the dam's full, the bike track won't mean much.
Sandy here, like quicksand.
Yeah.
Early in the piece.
Yeah, it's very boggy. You couldn't cross the horses here, you'd sink. Imagine just how much water's sort of missing out of this area when you look at high water mark up there. That's Sydney's water supply. That's all she's got. Bit of a worry, eh? No, 43 degrees, that's how it's going to get to, so it's hot already, you know. And then we'll come back in at dark. So, that's the plan.
Negative, Luke, over.
No worries, just wanted to let him know, or let you know up there that got no horse at this stage. I'm a bit unlucky. And I know how bureaucracy can be and how it can tie you up. Knots and red tape. When you get a job like this, you've got to be able to do the job. You know, it's all right to talk about it. There's a lot of things you've got to do that probably aren't 100% by the book. And it was just before dark. I was sort of looking, peering through the side corner of the Hessian there, and I saw about 8 pack horses. They sort of just cantered off. It's been too hot, and it's just been a hard week to get them in. Let you know, the wind set off our trap gate last night, but there is a few horses poking about. So we're going to continue on today and see how we go, eh? Oh, well, I just don't know how much longer it's worth continuing on with the bunker at the moment, you know, being so difficult week to start with. It's, you know, I could do another maybe day and night, but after that it's sort of getting a bit whether it's worth it and whether just, you know, go home and rethink the plan and make a really good trip set up.
Sort of our last chance on this trip, isn't it? Yeah. To catch them. If someone stays here now, they might have a chance to catch them. If we go, that's the end of it. Nothing down there? They were cantering, galloping around there all night, but they wouldn't go in the yard, the buggers. Don't know. You got Carlon on us.
Oh, that's the way it goes, eh? Bugger.
You know, I work in a resource-starved environment all the time, constantly trying to get money to implement the programs that we need to do environmentally. And this is a very expensive program on government. It drains a lot of resources. We could undertake this program using different techniques and it'd cost us, 5% of the money.
I'm tired of seeing all you good men risking your lives just for better horses to ride. It's time you took the rifles from the wall and started shooting them.
Oh, no, Jane, don't talk like that. We don't shoot horses on the open range. Why, the blood of the best horses in Australia runs wild up there.
After 3 months of the worst conditions I can ever remember, of drought and just stinking hot weather, and we finally got 4 more brumbies in the yards on Apple Tree Flat. We developed our own trip system that the horses set off, so we don't have to be down there. We can actually use the 4-wheel bikes, get in and check the trap in an afternoon. Made it so much easier. We was just thinking of putting all the horses in the bottom yard and setting the trip again and getting a few more tonight, maybe early in the morning.
Could you relay to him, we got another 2 last night, so a total of 6. Yeah, just let him know that the trip technique's working a treat, mate. It's a winner. Well, Luke, price is coming down, mate.
Yep. We've got 6 horses in the yards to date. We done 4 last time, and so 6 is going to be a lot of handling and a lot of work to try and get this mob out safely. Oh, you got her quiet. That took the mickey out of her just that bit, I think. But she's quieting right down already, isn't she?
You're going to lead this little mare out. We don't want to do too much with her because...
She's not in real good nick.
No, she's obviously a bit stressed and not going to handle too much working with. You might get her all the way up there and then she dies in the yard up there.
She's pretty buggered, isn't she?
Yeah. We might even get her foal next.
Head off a bit, Jace, with us. Take a bit of weight with us. Pull her at it, Jace. Pull your horse over.
I'm trying. She's pulling me in.
Pull, Jace, pull. Gee, you're pulling back, little thing, isn't she? You got her. You put your horse's chest on her, if you will. Straight up her rump. Let her go loose, yeah.
You think the mum will come if we get the foal?
Well, she's flying up a bit, is she?
Yeah, she's not moving. She just fell over.
Get that other mare up. It's going to be a pretty hard travel, I think. It's a pretty stressful thing for him being in the yard, isn't it? Just that mare just doesn't want to go, just
exhausted. Well.
She's a poor mare. This far will be taking it out of her. It'll be a long slog, I think. Once you've trapped a horse, the system's not going to let them go. So we want to try and get her out of here. Someone will take her and then look after her. If we don't do that, she'll be shot here. So we've got to do our best to try and get her out.
Well, she don't kick you too.
She keeps laying down on us anyway, and we're just going to leave her over in the shade with a bit of water, and we'll come back and do a bit more with her later on and just leave her alone. It's a dangerous job because you're dealing with a wild animal, so you've got to keep your wits about you. Even though these horses are fairly small brumbies, they might be easier to handle than a bigger horse, they're still wild animals. We've got to look after us plus Brumby plus our own riding horse. You only just tipped it, didn't you?
Well, give him a pat every time he comes. That's it. Yeah, he's all right. He's got a bit of kicking in his foot.
Get him around that pole. Pull him out, Joe. Up, Jason. Don't let him do that. What do you reckon? You want to come back or you're right?
See these horses leading as well as what they are. We've only got that one problem mare that's got the foal up there. And
See, it's a dangerous occupation. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it, wouldn't they? Every man and his dog. Oh, well, there's two up there anyway.
well, there's always a 308 solution, isn't there?
Yeah. You don't want to throw yourself down 20 times on the way out and you'll die anyway, so you might as well just shoot her there. Yeah. But we'll give it a go.
Do you think she'll come good?
Hard to say. He doesn't like any part of this. Took that older off, she'd come good. Yeah, she'd be straight off down that paddock. Suppose the band won't let us do that. It's no good, I'll just let two of them go. Get them next time.
You're ain't leading here, it ain't going to lead in the yard, so there's no real point worrying about it. Relieves a bit of pressure off it.
I've been wild in the bush. I should just keep flop myself here. I don't think she'll go too far if she's back on trial with the horse. Long job, but yeah, take it through, I reckon. Both water and 2 feet on each horse and walk. We're going to try and lead that mare with the foal just by foot. Inch by inch. Be a couple of hour job, but at least we get her there, eh? Maybe. Try anyway. Oh, it's stinking hot here today. It's going to be a real marathon for Steve and Jace, running up that hill there in their jeans and boots. Try and get this old mare safely out. But it's the last chance she's got, really. How you going? You going to bite? Ah! It's going to bite me, little son of a shit. Get him out of it. What happened? I think she was dying a bloody morning ago. Oh, you gonna bite? Oh, oh, that one got me. Who's leading now? Straight up. Yep. Watch that ant's nest. I better go first, eh? You all right, Steve?
Can you just get a message through to Scotty that we'll be going for a fair few hours to get the last of the horses up today?
Fancy get that mare up here as well, eh? That crook mare standing there in the yards. Not something you'd expect. We didn't expect it anyway.
I mainly feel Dad looking over the shoulder, looking about at times, and I actually feel that he's there sometimes, you know, looking over, and I think he'd be proud of us carrying on the tradition of keeping it alive in these modern times.
No, whiskey o'clock, let's go.
Whiskey o'clock.
I try and understand people for their perspectives on the way they view the world. And, you know, I think that's what park rangers have to do. They need to do that.
Lives at Clarence. He's a bit of a moonshiner. A little taste test. Well, it's funny, having the same outlook but totally different. The same love of the country, the same want to look after it.
Politics comes and goes. At the end of the day, it's generally the culture that survives.
You can't learn a particular area out of a book. You've got to experience its ups and downs. It's droughts, it's floods, it's rabbit plagues, and that knowledge been passed on from generation to generation.
If there has been mistakes made in the past, in 5 years, 10 years' time, that'll be ancient history.
This country out here, you know, it's national park, and that's exactly what it should be, because it's just made for it and it should be preserved and looked after.
It's a coming of age thing. I think that Australia is embracing the vast variety of the ways people relate to that land.
Yeah, I would like to do a bit more work for National Park, and it's good work because it's in the country you love, but you also, yeah, you feel like you're achieving something.
Carlons have a unique perspective on the world and a unique heritage, their own heritage. In many ways, I couldn't think of a better person than Luke Carlon and his family to get involved in this project. The matter of building that trust and working up those relationships.
I've got 2 little daughters coming up and I want them to grow up in the valley, and I also want to be able to bring them down here to the river and show them the country that was shown to me. And I'm hoping that we can stay and pass that on to them. When a brumbie's not in the wild, is it still a brumbie? That is a tricky question you've asked me there. Well, if I lived in the city, I'd still be a bushman. But I'm not acting like one, am I? So, is a brumbie if he's not in the wild anymore? Yes and no. The brumbie's still in him, but he's not in an area where he can be a brumbie as such. I think that might be it. I don't know. Try and work that one out, Russ.
My little lonely, she's my one and only. All the love just stole me and I can't let it go. Like a siphon or straw, something to adore on the fatal floor, and I can't let it go. Oh, my little savior on a good behavior, all the self she gave you, now you can't let it go. Like a needle or tie when she's giving you back, and the days just go black, and you can't let it go. And I gotta get up, and I gotta get on, and I gotta get on, and I gotta get out, and I gotta get up, and I gotta get on, and I gotta get on, and I can't let it go. My little heart with a cosmic handshake, hammer on today, but I can't let it go. Like a sorrow ceiling, fight it just to feel it. She gonna reveal it, then you can't let it go. Oh, my little wonder makes you stop to ponder, makes me kinda fond. I can't let it go. Like a live and a learn, like a Chinese bird. Just wait till you turn, and I can't let it go. I gotta get up, I gotta get on, I gotta get on, I gotta get out, I gotta get up, I gotta get on, I gotta get on, and I can't let it go. Can't